What's up everyone, this is Ryan here, the Crypto Grinder, and today on our show we have Robin8, the founders of Robin8. They are here in Singapore right now and we are in the lovely Western Hotel. Hi there Miranda.
Hi.
Hi there Hassan.
Hi.
Thank you so much for coming. So what brings you all here to Singapore? I'm sure it's not the weather, by the way. So why are you all here, by the way?
We're here to actually, we're actually in Asia. We just came back from Korea. We had a meetup in, actually of CoinNest. And also Cinco, they had a huge meetup of over 800 people. And since we're actually right around the corner, we thought we'd stop by Singapore we had some meetings and to also visit one of our favorite people.
Oh, thanks so much, man.
And I flew in from Berlin.
Right, I saw that.
Yes.
I saw that. That was the meetup with Quantum, isn't it?
And that was a meetup with Quantum.
Nice,
They had a very technical part of their meetup, and then I covered the business side of how we work with Quantum using the Robin8 put. And it was a very good meetup. We had a standing room over 100 people.
Wow, you guys have been rocking it. By the way, if you guys have not checked out the initial interview, right, you can click in the link below. You can watch the original interview where we talk about Robin8 as well. But today, there's going to be a whole new level that we're going to be talking about today. So, by the way, just for the audience who are watching this for the very first time, what's Robin8 in a nutshell?
So Robin8 in a nutshell is we're an influencer search engine and marketing platform that's powered by big data and AI. So our whole thing is about profiling, ranking, and matching every person down to a science based on their interests and based on what they like and what they don't like. Okay, so in terms of how do you all match up against the current existing platforms, for example, Facebook, whether is it Steemit, where do you all place yourselves? So like I mentioned earlier, Robin8, our existing business, we've been around for over 3 years. We have revenue with clients, we have existing product. The existing product is an influencer search engine where we actually profile over 30 million people on over 13 different social media platforms. So for our blockchain project, it's the profile utility token. It's basically a new wave of social media where we give the control of the profile data back to the owner and empower everyone with their data.
And then if I may add a little bit to that, the way we do it is that we crawl over 1 million pieces of content a day, and we actually use our proprietary version of natural language processing to be able to figure out what the interests of people are. And then that data alone is very valuable to advertisers and to others to understand the type of audience they may be looking at. And then secondary, we have an app where people sign on, or the advertisers ask us to find these people, and when they want them to share content or to create content around them, they are already sort of pre-vetted because they have interest in it, because our machine learning has already just determined what their interests are. And that is the key value.
That is the key value, isn't it? Because right now, a lot of platforms are saying that they do AI, are saying that they are into big data, but they have nothing. And now you guys have already been doing it for the past 3 years, right?
That's right?
And so now with the put tokens, I think there's a whole economy that's going to be built around it. So maybe Hassan or Miranda could maybe elaborate a little bit more, because I think the audience will want to know what the heck the put tokens do, right?
Right, yeah.
So yes.
Right.
Yes.
So a big challenge that everyone has, including you mentioned Facebook and other major social media platforms, is people are trying to figure out what is their true reach and what is their true engagement and who are these people. And so the idea behind the profile utility token, or the put, is to use blockchain to validate people, both what their interests are, and we use machine learning and other forms of validation, and then how many true followers they have based on other blockchain people, as well as how many other social networks they're connected with. So we move from a world where you're guessing.
That is just so hard to do on YouTube, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Like no one actually knows how many subscribers do people have. Right. Right. And I know some YouTubers who have fake followers and fake subscribers, by the way. So this platform with the machine learning helps to, of course, filter all that out.
It helps. So there's two parts of filtering. Once you become blockchain, right, that means you can only get that status once you prove the validity of your data, how many users or how many platforms that you're on. So that's the first, and that is a core value of blockchain. The second level using machine learning is that we already have fake detectors, and we have things that we can actually determine the probability that we're looking at something real. And we're using that currently among our current client base. So instead of just any given advertiser or anyone accepting whatever data they get, we actually can calculate or determine the probability of what the reality of what they're showing, what they're looking at, and how many followers they have are.
I think that helps out a lot of advertisers because I think advertisers are paying premium dollar for advertising these days,
Right.
and a large part, I think advertising revenue, it goes into the billions, right? And so if you guys are already providing, or Robin8 is already providing this additional filtration process, right? That way they know that they already can safeguard themselves. Right, I think that's so important because
we work with a lot of brands now, and I mean a lot of the reason they come to us is like using data. We could tell
Which
them
brands?
We actually work with a lot of the 4As. We work with Unilever, we work with Porsche, we work with Macy's. So we work with WPP Publicist Media. They're the big, WPP is the largest advertising holding company. We also have Publicist Media, OMG. These are the giants we call 4As. And some of the brands we work with, like I mentioned, is like Unilever, Porsche, Macy's, number of the global
Starbucks.
brands.
You have
Yes.
Starbucks as a client as
Yeah,
well.
we have a number of them, and the reason they come to us is using data. We tell them who are the best people to basically use either they're big influencers or they're that mid-size, up and comers, or there are people like us. So for advertisers using data, we can help them find the best people, with the best return on investment.
Awesome. So now, let me ask a little bit on the content creation side, or how do the KOLs benefit from this? Because I think there are a lot of content creators like myself, right, could strongly benefit from this. Because I think I would like to know what's my ROI, right? If let's say investors were to engage me or advertisers were to engage me, and how does this? How do I actually benefit from your platform as a KOL?
So I think one of the things about, do you want to take that? Do you want?
Yeah, you can start now. I'll add.
So I think before maybe we jump into that is that like as a KOL, I think one of the things you want is like you want to create great content.
Yes.
And you want to basically you want to create great content that basically fits your interest. So one of the things we do is we help KOLs understand their data more in terms of we take all their data, we can basically help them analyze and say, hey, based on your data, this is what your interests are. Is it makeup? Is it automobile? Is it fitness? Is it health? Is it travel? And we help you, basically better understand your data, better understand your audience, and also better match you.
And all this is available on the KOL's dashboard.
So we work with a lot of brands, and we work with a lot of KOLs. For KOLs, what we provide them is we basically provide them access. We match them with the best brands.
Okay.
But that data is on our search engine,
Right.
so they can look at it and they see the areas of interest based on the types of things they post or they create.
Something
That is
similar to a
available.
little bit like YouTube. YouTube has a little bit of those analytics as well.
Yes.
So is it much better, or
Yeah, so you
it's
can
much
think
better,
of
right?
you can think of it as your personal data scientist.
That's right.
Where we're all about helping you better
Oh, I like
understand
that.
your
The
data.
personal data scientist. I like that. Okay,
I mean,
okay.
that's pretty much how we position ourselves.
Okay.
We act as, not just for KOLs, but for every person. So I think every one of us, in this once upon a time, there's been a couple hundred media sources. Now Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, every one of us has a voice,
Sure.
is a brand, and is a media. So, so we basically act as a personal data scientist for everybody, including, key opinion leaders. We call, influencers in China, KOLs. As well as, in Korea, they call them power bloggers. In the West, we call them influencers. So, so we basically work with pretty much as a personal data scientist, we basically help you better understand your brands, better understand your data.
And so I would, going back to your original question as a KOL who produces content, this ties into our profile utility token, is one challenge that everyone has when you create content is it's my content. I created it, I originated it. If you originate it and you can tag it and blockchain it, then it becomes immutable.
That's right.
And that becomes a key value. So all of a sudden, you don't have to worry, or it's less important to do licensing and copyright. The blockchain handles that for you. And then it puts it into this network where you're working with this network of blockchain data. And that is of high value both to KOLs, to readers, and to others who may want to buy or share that content, advertisers and others.
Is this platform available for the West already, or it's currently? I mean, I was looking through your website and I noticed that it's still only in Mandarin. So will there be a Western version of it?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay. Roughly when will it be launched?
So we're currently focused on China.
Right.
For the last 2 years, our main business has been China. So we're actually going to open it outside China, I would say the next month or two.
Right.
So, we're working on basically end of this month.
Okay.
And we're pretty excited, but it's something that's not easy to do. As you understand, we're dealing with data here. We're dealing with pretty much AI. So our team is working pretty fast, in terms of trying to get this thing, launched outside China. But I think to also answer your question earlier, right? I think we're talking about a lot of stuff here. I think one of the things we really need to understand is there's a huge pain point that we're solving here. And I think that's something we need, maybe talk about first so people understand why we're doing this. I think, a lot of people think we're all about advertising. And, advertising, I would say, is one component about it. It's one component. There's a huge issue that's happening now, and that's basically the ownership of data. And I think there's a huge, this is something that it's a global issue in terms that, people, everyone, all of us, including myself, we use Facebook, we use Instagram, we use LinkedIn, we use these third-party platforms, and we use it every day. We share everything about us, our pictures, our videos, what's happening in our life. And what's going on is basically we have no control over that data.
We get ripped off all the time, man.
So as a KOL, one of the biggest things for KOL is copyright IP protection. You're worried that people take your content that you work so hard about. But also, for us as consumers, there's a huge issue that we're using these social platforms, sharing everything about our life, and we have no control over that. And even worse is that basically, we have no control over that. And also, these third parties that have our data, they're not even taking the proper precautions to protecting it. Like you see this in the US, where we have hacks in Yahoo, we have Equifax, where all our personal data, it's not even being, it's basically, it's being hacked.
Yeah, it's a free-for-all, man.
Yeah, so I would say one of the biggest issues, globally, right, Hassan?
Right.
It's basically this whole who owns this, data. So
and then related to who owns it is who measures the data and for whose benefit.
Of course.
So if you go on a Facebook or YouTube or LinkedIn, there's no report on saying, okay, this is all the ways your data was used. I mean, you have to search.
Well,
and maybe
you can kind of set some privacy settings, but that's all you get.
But privacy.
But most of the time they don't even know how to. But most people don't know how to set the privacy settings. By the way.
So there's two parts. One is privacy, right? And so it's good that you can do it, but as you mentioned, most people don't know how to do it. But even if you set privacy, all you're doing is blocking. You don't know other uses of your data. So as Miranda mentioned, we want to be your personal data scientist. We want to give you a dashboard of not only all the things that you own, that you use, all the other aspects of how your data becomes available, what kind of data is coming in, what kind of data is going out, and everything else about it. We want to give that control to the user.
Yeah.
Wow. And I think that is something that a lot of platforms that so far I've heard, you respect the data. I think you're respecting other people's data as well.
Yes.
That's the most important thing, because it's ultimately the integrity of the company that wants to do this. Because most of the time we are just posting all our stuff. We just want to share, right? But at the end of the day, I think that it's good that we have a company like Robin8 that's actually not exploiting it, but in fact helping us manage it, but at the same time giving us that right, like what you say, giving the control back to us.
We want to empower you with your data, so that's where the dashboard comes in. So first we want to give that control back to you, give you control of your profile data, and then we want to empower you with all this data, so so you understand your data more, basically what your data is about, and that's where the dashboard, the analytics come in.
So, sorry, you're back to what you were saying.
So we give control of that data back to you, and then we also give you, empower you with your data in terms of we give you the analytics, the dashboard to help you better understand your data, and and you can use that. So the thing is, if you don't want to share it, you don't want people to see it, you have that control. If you do want to see it, we basically want to reward you. We want to reward you and monetize you with the profile utility token, and that's what Robin8, the profile utility token, is about. Right. It's about empowering every person their data, and basically, if giving you that power and control back to you, and also helping you understand your data and helping you also monetize it. So you could think of data as more of like it's an asset that you own, just like your house, your car. It's something that should be within your control, and it's something that you can monetize.
Cool. So this put token, right? Okay, help me understand how does it function in terms of in an ecosystem, like, or where we call it tokenization. So anyone can let me know about how this tokenization works, or how does the put token actually function. So I understand, it seems to me that there are three people who can benefit: the consumer, or the people who are the readers, right? You can buy it off the secondary market. Can you, you probably can most likely buy it to purchase things like, for example, content.
Right.
Then what I understand is that, of course, definitely the KOLs will be earning these these put tokens, and
Not just KOL, everybody.
Okay, everybody. All right. So everybody can use the benefit from these put tokens.
Absolutely.
Okay, so I want to know what's the benefit.
So the way our project works,
Right.
so it's like, when you sign up, we monetize you, we reward your puts.
Right.
When you actually, the more social accounts you actually bind to your account, we also monetize you. The more friends you invite to your account, we reward your puts. And then for every action we capture on the blockchain. So that means everything you share, everything you read, everything you create, you get monetized with the put, regardless if you're a influencer, a KOL, or if you're just a regular person, basically, who's sharing your content, or maybe creating an image or picture of your friends and family. Everything, every action is basically captured, and we reward you at the put.
Right. And the more that you interact with other networks, or you interact with each other, that can earn you puts. And so there's a way in which the put becomes the trusted token and platform for interaction and sharing and creation of content. That's the view.
The main essence.
So Hassan actually wrote the white paper, and this is something that he I give him a lot of credit for. We have a credit score. Think of it as a credit score. So when people have a high credit score, you could think of it like, they're very trustworthy in the sense that they were, when you lend them money, they pay their bills. Yeah, they pay them back. So for us, we also have a score in terms of trustworthiness. So like Hassan mentioned, the more accounts, like social accounts they bind, the higher their score, and also the more friends they invite, the higher their score. So this way we know, like for example, when they bind their accounts on LinkedIn, Facebook, the other social platform, we know this is them. The same thing too when they actually invite their friends. Like some person might have like a million friends, right? So we know there's a lot of fake data.
Yes.
And so here, when you actually invite your friends, even if you have 100 or 1,000, the more friends you invite who are blockchain, we know they're real. So you also have a high score.
Is how you improve
so there's a
the
correlation.
Score.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this goes back to where we were talking about the advertising. So advertising is one part of it. So like I mentioned earlier, advertising is just one dot, but pretty much everything, relies on the profile utility token in the sense that, if you think about it, it's all about profiles, personalization. So as you mentioned earlier, advertising, one of the things they're facing now, the number one thing they're facing is fake data.
Yes. It's just the most important thing that I think for us, right, as content creators especially, I think I get pissed off when my content is being circulated and other people are benefiting from that. Does this actually protect me?
Oh, absolutely. So for one of the things we offer for influencers, as well as I mentioned for everybody, is IP and copyright protection. So now we actually we bind your account to the blockchain, and that gives you IP and copyright protection. So when someone uses your data, again, it gives you have control and access to your data.
Right.
And if someone else is using it, you can claim this is yours.
Right. Okay.
It's attribution that can be validated. So we can significantly reduce the incentive for someone to take someone else's content that has already been validated on the blockchain.
Yeah, because
that,
they're like
so
sharing the content. That's the thing that is like a little bit gray, because they can share our content, isn't it? But the thing is, when they share it, they're actually monetizing from it, and that's what I noticed that's been happening to me, especially. If that is monetizable, right? Then I think at the end of the day, I just want my content to be protected, or at least, like you said, we have somehow we can able to attribute or track, right? I think that's very important. Okay. So as you were mentioning about the content protection, and also in terms of monetizing, helping us monetize the content, and of course we are having the rights to the content and IP protection and all that. So what about the customers? Like, when they buy your put tokens, how do they benefit from all this?
So there are two parts to it. One is the token is a way to purchase either services from a KOL, or it's a way in which you share rewards based on whatever you want people to see on your own content to build up your own awareness as an influencer.
Yep.
So that kind of thing. So there's that value. And then the second value is the circulation value of the put will increase, because in the community in which everyone is blockchain, people will want to work within a token economy because everyone's been validated.
Okay.
And so if you, for example, are a KOL and you have content and you worry about other people taking your content, we're not a legal service. We're attribution and trust service.
Right.
And so you will have a greater incentive to want to operate and share content with others who are blockchain, and that will increase the circulation value of the profile utility token.
Okay, so do advertisers also benefit from all this? Like in a sense, that how do they benefit? Let's say if I'm an advertiser, do I get a discount or something like that if I contact these KOLs, or how does it work?
Well, I mean, like I mentioned to you, like the number one issue now that advertisements face is basically fake data. They're spending billions of dollars, right? And they don't even know these are real people who's watching their content. So I would say, like, they're like, forget precision matching. I don't even care these are the right people. All I care about that these are real people that's actually looking at our content. So for advertisers, we provide that transparency, that they know that basically these are real people. So
right, and there's actually two parts to that: real people and real data. Right. So we want, the reader wants to know that what they're reading is what is real and it came from the source.
Sure.
That's a huge issue. Fake news or
That's
fake
right.
content. So
you hear that all over the U.S.
right,
all the time, man.
So
fake news, right?
So it's both the user, make sure they're real, and the data is real. And if you have data that is coming from a source and that source is already blockchain, their incentive to push out fake news or fake data is far reduced because there's attribution. It can be easily traced back to them.
I gotta ask you a little bit about that. Maybe it's a little bit technical, but in terms of data that's coming into the blockchain, right? Based on what I understand is that actually any kind of data can actually come into the blockchain, and even data that is kind of so-called fake could be kind of also considered data. So I think it's all about on Robin8's platform. It's about deciphering whether that data is legit or not.
That's correct.
That's when the machine learning part kind of picks it up, because to me, blockchain is garbage in, garbage out.
Yes.
Honestly speaking, it's not like the blockchain knows like, this is shit data. So that's the thing, right? It boils down to that additional layer, which is your AI and machine learning data layer that will kind of sift out all the crap and then pull out the legitimate data.
So I use the concept of concentric circles. And so the first concentric circle is that, Ryan, you create data.
Yes.
And you say, I sign that data, okay? So you can blockchain that data.
But couldn't I also sign off on fake data?
Well, okay.
Like I created fake content and put it up. So,
okay, so then there's the
Let's make it a little bit challenging.
Concentric circle.
Right.
And this is where our artificial intelligence comes in.
That's right.
And what we do is that we use machine learning and we can do pattern detection and other ways to see if the probability of whether that data is true or not true. And so we can actually make alerts and alarms on whether that, and so I have 4 concentric rings. I have what I call blockchain true and validated. I have the next ring, which is data that has been put out by maybe someone blockchain or even not, and we think it's true,
right,
based on our analysis using our machine learning. And then we have the third layer, which is we're not sure if it's true or not, right? It's not necessarily suspicious, true or not. And then we have the last circle, the outer circle, which is probably not true.
Right.
And so we can make that distinction that is not possible now. At the moment, no one really knows, is it true or not? You have to just believe it, or you're counting on one of these major social platforms to catch them, which obviously who knows how that's done or
I
not
think
done.
it boils down to the number of data points that you are picking all this from as well, because it's not easy. I mean, like I said,
Yeah.
because even AI or big data, this intelligence layer also takes time. It also needs
Yes.
many
You have to train it.
events, and you have to train it
Yeah,
before
that's
it kind of
right.
picks it up, right? So just out of curiosity, based on what you just shared, also. How long do you all take to actually develop this layer of AI and machine learning? I mean, how long did you guys take to develop it?
So, our company's been around for almost 3 years. So we have this, we've been building this thing for the last 3 years. Currently, we have natural language processing, NLP. It's a type of, it's basically, it's AI. Basically,
Read the text.
we teach the machines to how to read the text, just like you and I. So if you and I were to read a piece of article, it might take us like a minute to read a piece of article. Here, we teach the machines how to read it like you and I.
Right.
So what's cool about this is like it takes us a minute to read. Here, the machines can read millions of articles consistently
Right.
and at scale. So every minute it reads millions of articles, tags each piece of articles, and analyzes it. Just like, so we're teaching the machines here how to read like us. And we've been doing this for about, you could say the more it's like training a
Events.
baby.
The more events
Yeah,
it
it's like a
goes
baby.
through. Yeah.
The
it's
more you
like-
train it, the better, and the more data it has. So we've been doing this for over 3 years. We have Chinese and English NLP.
Right.
And like I mentioned, we have over, we've actually done over 5,000 campaigns, influencer campaigns already,
Right.
where we actually match brands with the most relevant people based on their tags.
And I think that's what the advertisers want to hear, because I think where your value proposition, I mean, basically to me, is that once advertisers know where this is coming from, right, the revenue will start coming in, and that's when all the put tokens will also start to kind of be monetized also naturally as well. Not saying that, but by the way, talking about revenue, do you all actually are you all planning to share some of that juicy advertising revenue with the put holders, or I mean, just asking.
Yes, we're looking at that very closely. So our view is that the put is going to add tremendous value to the entire.
Oh, by the way, disclaimer, folks, it is not necessary for the parent company to share any revenue with put token holders. Okay, just so you know, it's two different things. But yes, Hassan, sorry to interrupt.
Okay, sure, no problem. On our Robin8 platform, which is primarily a social influencer matching with advertisers, the advertisers will get a lot of value by usage of having blockchain data. That will increase their usage and the profitability. And our goal is to make some of that incremental revenue or profit available to the token economy, because they empower this whole Robin8 platform to be much more trusted and people to use it on that basis. So both sides benefit. So
Right.
yes, we do plan on passing some of that value back to the tokens.
Yes, because I mean, ultimately, guys, we are all buying the tokens, and we are not having any equity in this wonderful company. And by the way, you are not listed, right? Robin8 itself
Right.
is not listed on
No,
any
it's
stock
not.
exchange. So this is the only chance for me to kind of be part of all this, because I mean, personally, I like to invest in companies that are involved in AI and big data, because
Right.
everything from
Everything,
man, is all
And
about
that's
big
the
data,
thing.
man.
Big data, yeah,
right?
no question.
Database is so important, and any company and that has that kind of database, client base, that's the most important. You talk about banks, insurance, trading companies. I mean, I'm from the finance industry, right?
Right.
And of course, Hassan was from KPMG. You
Right.
guys, everything is all about data and clientele.
Right.
So that is the most important thing.
Right.
If there is a layer to kind of sift through, and there are some, by the way, there are some companies that I know who are very large corporations that have very poor filtration processes or AI or no machine learning whatsoever. So they have all this data they've accumulated through the years,
Right.
but they don't know how to use it effectively.
Right, that's true.
Right, because the systems are all 20 years old.
They're 20
Right.
years old,
I
and,
mean-
and they haven't set up training. The big data and AI is all about training the machine to do things that you previously did using human processes
Right.
or using instinct.
Yeah.
So we set up a process where the machine continues to learn, which was once done previously only by humans, and
Right.
that is a core value. And then the second part of that is that now we want to move that each person benefits as this data they accumulate and they're part of, they get the machine for their benefit.
Awesome.
That is the promise of both the Robin8, the company, and the profile utility token.
And if you think about like like profile utility, it's called profile utility because it's all about profiling.
Yep.
So our goal is like I mentioned like Robin8. Our whole thing is about profiling, ranking, and matching. Profiling your person down to your size. If you think about it, it's all about personalization. I mean, that's the future. Like in the future, right? Like now when you want to buy a car, you search maybe online to see who are the best, you look at the reviews. But the future is like basically, we have your data. We know everything about you down to your size. So before you've actually looked for a car, we know you want to buy it.
Yep.
So it's like personalization is the key to everything if you think about it. And advertising is like one sector, but every sector, like mentioned, like banking, insurance, healthcare,
fashion.
I
mean, luxury brands are
travel,
always looking into all this as well, right? Because
Right.
the moment, let's say for example, right, we have, I think it's already out there. For example, if you walk in, let's say I'm a client of a particular luxury brand, okay, and then after that, just because my mobile is on, they know that it's me. And they can already immediately kind of have a list of what I like to buy or what I could potentially like to buy.
Right.
Would Robin8 be in this direction as well?
Absolutely, it's all about personalization. Our whole thing is to profile your person down to a science. So so basically, we know everything about you, and then we can before you even like start looking for or buying it, we know that you're looking for it. So it's not like advertisements; it's something you need. So it's like now, like you're seeing all these ads, but what if it's stuff that you need and you're looking for? Then it's like, hey, this is what I want.
Right.
So
Yeah,
the goal is
exactly.
basically, it's all about personalization. That's what the profile utility token's about. And then also like, it's about empowering every person. Now people are, we take that data and people are using it. And us, the individual who owns that data, we have no control over it. So now for third parties after who want to access that data, they need to actually, number one, get our permission. And we're willing to share that permission with them. They're like, okay, you can use our data. Then we also get monetized like that.
And an example could be without any advertising. We imagine a day where, since we're your personal data scientist, you ask the machine, you ask to say, what have I been interested in lately? And they would say, you've been reading a lot more about basketball lately. You might consider going to a game or looking at this kind of fashion.
That's right. It's
Right?
just like
It's
how I watch a lot of YouTube, right? And after a while, it will populate with
Yeah.
what I always watch. the
And-
most.
but it's not telling.
They'll kind of recommend.
It
right?
will recommend, but
So
it's
that's how it
not
works.
telling you. Our goal is to give all that data back to you. So even before YouTube is telling you, you already know.
Right.
And that's the difference.
So just say you don't want to share your data to anyone. You're like, I don't want anyone to see my data.
Yeah, I just want to be a hermit crab.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then we basically, then that's your data. And what we do is we act as your personal data scientist.
Right.
We tell you, hey, this is based on your data, what you like, your interests. And then, you don't have to share it with anybody.
Right.
But then you understand, it's like this is your asset. And
Right,
you're able to better
okay.
understand, and we provide you all that analytics and all that, information to you.
I think what excites, a lot of who is watching right now is that you guys are very strategically placed in China, and a lot of people want to do business in China, right? And
Right.
and especially it's so hard to penetrate the Chinese market,
Yeah.
and you
It
guys
really
are
is.
you guys are already
It really
having that database
Right,
and position
true.
there. Very very smart, Miranda and Hassan. Very very smart.
Right.
So let me ask you, who's your competition? I think that's it's China, right? So I'm sure you all will have a lot of competition out there in the market that could potentially do what you do. So I don't want to talk about your competition too much, but is it easy to replicate what you guys do?
It's not that easy. There are a couple like who we compete with in China. We compete with a couple a couple others, but what they focus on is more of the bigger KOLs.
Okay.
They focus on the bigger KOLs, the bigger media. Like our specialty is more of that long tail, that middle layer,
Right.
and basically consumer. And the reason we're
Right.
able to do that is because we have AI and we have big data.
Right.
So like I mentioned earlier, we're an influencer search engine.
Right.
We basically take data from over 13 social platforms. So we're able to actually find that middle layer, those up and comers,
Right.
as well as the, basically
And they're not so
consumers.
expensive.
They're a lot more affordable.
Sorry,
a lot more
since
efficient,
you're not so
high
expensive. You're not A grade, you're B grade. No, but B
Right.
grade being the middle income.
we have
And using our technology, we can actually see who's trending.
Sure,
Who might become
sure.
expensive.
Sure.
And we get them before they
Sure.
are.
Oh, yeah. You get them before
we call
they peak,
call
right?
KOL a talent identification technology.
Nice.
We have
Okay,
that
so you have that
capability.
as well.
Yes.
So we find
Okay,
up and comers.
so the up and comers, you have hope. You have to look at the Robin8 platform. Okay, so
So
now
those are who we go against.
That-
So people, like
for
there's
sure.
a lot of these, like, you know, the agencies, they do it
Yeah.
manually. They have just like a set list. There's also some other one that basically focus maybe on the top 100, top, you know,
Sure.
200.
top 10, top 20.
I mean, we
you know.
definitely have that, but
Sure.
what we have that makes us special is that middle layer.
But I think it's ultimately all about margins. Right? I think
Yeah.
it's all about margins because naturally the middle layer, there's a better margin, right? If it's a
You
top
totally
layer,
got it. Yeah, you
the
got
top
it.
layer is expensive,
Right,
right?
sure.
A lot of them, a lot of the
We
revenue
totally
will come
get our
from I
space.
get it, I get it, man. What about the C layer? You know, it's like, just kidding.
Yeah, well, the sea layer, that's vast ocean. There
Okay.
are jewels in that vast ocean.
Sure.
But they're very difficult to find.
Right.
And that's where AI makes
Sure.
a huge difference.
All right.
So even a high school student who is completely
coming.
brilliant
Mhm.
about a certain subject,
Sure.
if our engine captures them and it reads their article that they wrote, it can figure out whether or not they
No
have
way,
the
really,
potential.
man?
Yes.
Okay.
that
All right.
is the difference. You also asked another question. I'm gonna flip the script
Sure.
on what she said about who we compete with. We actually compete with the big social networks in a different sort of way.
That's right.
Oh,
And
okay,
the
I
way
wanna
we
hear this.
compete with the Weibos and the WeChat, well, their business model is to profile people and try to match them with advertisers for their own benefit by giving them a free platform to work with. We flip it by giving the complete control to the owner, the profile owner, and they decide how they're going to interact, either with each other or the advertiser. And so the idea of you go on one of these big social platforms and you just have to accept whatever they give you and how they profile you and whatever advertising's around you, and it's all for free. You decide. If you want my profile, you have to pay, or I decide how and when, what content I let in or not. That is our goal, is to make the whole thing flip from the big social platform controlling your profile to you having control of your profile.
And you probably see this, like actually, like last September, there's a huge thing going on in China where basically Weibo, which is like the Twitter of China, and Toutiao, which is you call it Jingle Toutiao, is like top news. It's kind of like a Huffington Post. So there was kind of like there's a big news where basically the two of them were fighting, and basically, you know, Toutiao took the content from Weibo and was like, hey, that's our content.
That's right.
Hey, you're taking our content. What was it? That's not your content. But actually, that content doesn't belong to Weibo
Either
or
one of
Toutiao. It belongs to the content creators,
That's
the
right.
KOLs. And that's a huge issue. And you also see that in EU, where basically like Facebook, companies like Facebook, you know, a lot of the social media getting fined for basically violating privacy. In the EU, data privacy is a huge issue. So like Hassan mentioned, you know, we also, in a way, we go against like some of these third parties. Where basically this is the way it has to be. You use our platform, and we take all your data, and you can't do anything about that. So so that's why we say we're a new wave of social media, where we give that, you know, control, that profile data back to the owner, and we empower every person with their data.
Right. And now, a little bit about your ICO period. I think you guys filled up in like 1 minute, man. Like, no one had a chance to even like participate.
We were
because
pretty surprised
because
too, yeah.
because okay, just so you know, I mean, we did know about it, but a lot of it was pre-ICO. And then when it went to the crowd sale, it was done in a minute. Like, no one would have stood a chance. And you guys raised like 20 mil. So may I know what attributed to this huge success? I mean, seriously, like what was behind the scenes that was going on that the camera doesn't know about that helped you all raise this 20 mil in such a short period of time?
I think like, you know, like we did our ICO actually pretty quickly. I would say like about 45 days.
Yeah.
And I think one of the reasons that, you know, we were able to do it is because we have an existing business.
That's right.
We have an existing product, we have clients, we have revenues, and
Why
our team
is
is
that?
also very seasoned.
Why is that? You know, being that, you know, it's a token sale, it's an ICO. Why are investors so ready to, you know, just give me my money? You know, take my money. You know, why are they so excited to be part of this so quickly? You know, despite the fact that it's non-equity related. So, you know, it's just so different in terms of when you talk about an IPO. I mean, I used to be from the traditional financial markets, right? And I think most important thing is that when you can participate in this new stage, right? I want to know how did they manage to kind of, I mean, they understand your concept, but I think the investing part is very, very important. So, you know, who were your biggest investors? Maybe you can share. And then, let us know. Yeah.
So, you know, I mentioned we've been around for about 3 years.
Right.
So we're actually VC backed.
Ah, okay.
So we're VC
Which
backed.
VC?
Like SLS Ventures.
Okay.
SLS Ventures, Triumph Capital, Pre-Angel, which is like one of the largest angel investments in China. We also have V Fortune, which is you know, they're funded by 2 Tsinghua graduates.
Okay.
And they're backed by the LP is the Beijing government.
Right.
And then we also have like what else am I missing? This is 365, MyTech Ventures. And so we're a VC-backed, you know, company. And then in terms of, so like I mentioned, we had like a product, we had existing sales,
Right.
and we had like.
And you just
you know,
couldn't wait to jump in, right?
so a lot of existing, you know, investors were pretty excited. And then also when we actually did our ICO, I think one of the things we actually also had a lot of like well-known blockchain luminaries and KOLs who wanted to participate. So some of our investors included, for example, you know, Leo Wang.
Okay.
He's really a big investor on blockchain. He's also, you know, he was actually one of our angel investors, pre-angels. And they invest in a lot of blockchain projects the last couple of years. We also have Nodes Capital.
Right.
Nodes Capital, they're one of the they also have their own media platform. They're pretty big blockchain KOL. And they're very selective in terms of projects they pick.
Sure.
And also Quantum.
Right.
So Quantum's actually our first investor.
They're the
Patrick
smart
Dye.
contract infrastructure
contract.
platform that we use.
They're our first investor, and they actually were one of their biggest investments,
Right.
Quantum. And they actually, you know, invested in us the first one before they even met us. They actually saw our white paper, they saw our team, they saw our
Right.
product, and they immediately invested in us. And
Out of curiosity, what made you all choose Quantum? Like, you know, like there's quite a number of smart contract platforms out there.
Right,
So,
it's true.
so who was
That's an excellent question.
So who was the decision maker in this, and what was the process leading to Quantum?
Right,
you
right.
guys building up, because anyone can build
Yeah.
on any kind of smart contract platform.
Yeah, yeah,
out
of
there.
course.
So yeah, just
So
curious.
there,
Just curious.
I would say there are a couple things. One is that, you know, it's all blockchain, while it's established, is still very new.
Yes.
Lots of innovation still needs to occur.
Yes.
Right. There's questions of, you know, gas price and speed and, you know,
Scalability,
scalability.
yeah.
You know, that's still, those are big issues. So what we need to look at is what team can move at the rate that we need them to move at. One, and so Quantum seemed like, you know, they're a very intense group. How open are they, you know, in terms of interaction with us? Because we have a pretty, you know, tech team who's, you know, particularly our chief data scientists and others.
Yes.
And then they were easy to work with, and they're, you know, very interested and curious in that regard.
I noticed that Xiao Long and Codeface are on your board of advisors as well.
Yeah.
Yes, they
Right?
are.
So yeah, I mean, I'm very surprised because they are quite busy, and then at the same time,
Yes.
they also. I mean, you are the largest investor, so I would assume
Yeah, but
for my top guys
but
there
because of
also.
that, and they're down the street, so we collaborate.
Oh,
very
you guys
closely.
are like quite near to each
I would
other.
say
Right?
there's 3
That
points.
helps. That helps. Be a neighbor. Okay.
So I said there's 3 points. I would say the reason we chose, like, you know, Quantum
Yes.
is actually number one, like Hassan mentioned, like, you know, we
The
pretty
support,
much,
right?
Well,
think-
the technical support, they
Yes.
provide a lot of technical support. And, you know, like we looked at a number of, like, you know, solutions, you know, and one of the most important things, they have one of the best smart contracts on the market that's very on par with everything that's out there.
And their rate of improvement in things that they're adding to it was very impressive
Yes.
relative.
The
to
library is growing every
Yeah,
every
so I would say
every new
number one.
project that comes
Number
on.
one. Number
Right.
2 is, I would say they provide a lot of technical support with some of the other platforms, and when I say hands-on support, they gave us a lot of technical support where our CTO and our chief scientists, who actually, you know, went to their office and say, and we're tech people. You know, we went to their office and they actually, you know, took the time and really gave us a lot of technical support, show us how everything's done. So we made sure, you know, we're talking about data, we're talking about
Yes.
people's money here.
Yeah,
so we want to
totally.
be very, very, very careful. So they took the time to actually walk us through all of that. So they provide a lot of technical support, also community support. As a blockchain project, it's really important to have the community.
Right.
So one of the reasons we were able to, you know, complete this project is like community is a huge part of it.
Right.
And Quantum gives us a lot of support in terms of all the other D apps. You know, we work together, and so I would say number 2 is based technical and community support.
Yep.
And the third thing, I would say, like you mentioned earlier, it's like they're 20 minutes from our office.
Right.
So there's
yeah,
no
I think
issue with knock on the door.
That's
and
not
then-
number
and
one,
we
man.
actually-
That's actually number 3.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
Definitely
okay.
number 3.
So like our team actually, Hassan, you know, all of us, like before we, you know, we actually went to their office,
Right.
we checked them out, And then when we had any issues, Jaina, Hassan, they went there, they talked to the tech team, and they sat there and they're like, show us the code.
Yeah,
Go
we did our
through
due
the stuff.
diligence and evaluated
Yeah.
whether or not we thought they would be, the best class platform.
Awesome.
And that's one of the reasons why we're close to, we're actually close to all of them, like, Patrick, Stella, Natalie, John, Brett, they're fantastic guys. But the tech team, they work very closely. So a lot of times we have any technical issues with, like, we were just like, and they were basically.
They will help you sort it
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
I think that's
Yeah.
the most important, because you guys are a business that's already been running, and you all want to blockchain your business. It's not like immediately
Yeah.
people will know. And that's
correct.
the thing. I think these guys are the ones that built the platform, and
Yeah.
for the fact that they took the time and they are continuously helping you guys out to improve your platform yourselves, I think that's props already.
And they actually liked the fact that we were there too. I think
Yes,
I think
of
I think
course.
they really liked the fact
It's
that
not like, hey, you
Yeah.
guys, here's the contract, go and build
yeah,
it.
like they really liked
Right.
I think we're one of the they really liked us in the fact that our tech team actually went there. We put a lot of time with their tech team.
Right.
We worked together. Like, we liked it, but I think at the same time they also liked it. Like, oh, these guys are pretty serious.
Of course.
Yeah. So.
Wow.
So we're very
And
close to
then you asked a question about our ICO, why it was quick.
Yes, why it was
And
quick.
we
Because I'm
started
sure a lot
out-
of people wanted to get in.
Yeah, well, there's a couple reasons. One, even our Telegram group started in the beginning of December, and by the
Yes.
time of the ICO, we had like over 4,500 people.
Yeah.
It grew quite rapidly.
I was there, man.
And you were there.
When it was just a few hundred people, by
When
the
you
way.
were a few hundred
Maybe
people.
like 60 at the beginning. Yes. It was a big
Yes,
time.
yes,
If you discover the conversation, the appetite among consumers, once they understand the value of a profile, is very large.
Right.
So this is something that is sort of under the surface. Many people know is an issue. They want to control their content. They want to control their data. They want to know who they're interacting with. And then some just want to make money from it. But,
Of
you know,
course.
that's not necessarily the biggest value. And that is something when we started describing our vision and how we can implement it, and that we had actual tools already in place. If you, like, we're only in China, but if you sign up, we will profile you and we'll give you the data. You
Right.
can see it.
Right.
Right? So
It's
there
already
is-
in place.
It's in place, right?
Yes.
And this is some hardcore science.
Yeah,
And it's not like you can go somewhere else and say, you can hit the button at WeChat and say, tell me all about what I've been doing. No such button exists. You can't do it at Facebook either. They just give you a note. This is your data. Okay, great. What do I do with it? How can I access it? Not there, or not obvious.
Because you guys have it. Okay, now another very important question, right? So with this 20 mil, what are you all going to, how are you all going to distribute it, or what are you going to utilize this 20 mil for?
I mean, it's like, we're talking about big data AI. So big data AI, it takes a lot of money. It's not something that's easy to build. So if you're thinking
So
about
what are the improvements? Because you already have something going on, but what are the improvements that probably you can share with the audience?
So clearly we need to build our tech team.
Okay.
So we have two core, our core AI engine is being built out of Berlin, Germany, where our head of scientist is. So I had two purposes besides the meetup, was also we're actively interviewing engineers. So that falls into a couple categories. One is people who actually build the machine learning algorithms.
Okay.
The second one is data scientists. You know, how you collect and data mine and
These
all
are
the data
expensive
we like.
people, huh?
They're not cheap.
Yeah.
This is high-end
Right.
people typically. I mean, these are often PhDs and that type of thing.
Right.
And we're trying to get the best. And then the third area is blockchain technology. Right.
Okay.
So we're adding
Basically
the blockchain.
building the team.
We're building the blockchain team
Right,
to integrate into our core existing business.
Right.
So we got 3 areas that we need to build. So there's a huge technology build that we need to do over the next several months.
Any strategic countries or regions that you all plan to move into other than where you are at in China, or China's good enough for now?
Oh no, we're definitely going outside China.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're definitely, we're in the process of actually opening up our platform, our
Okay.
APP. I mean, our APP is now, it's called Robin8. It's available on Android and iOS, but it's currently, just for China. So we're in the
Sure.
process of opening up this month, actually. End of
This
February.
month?
End of
Like-
February,
like-
we're working out, yeah,
Well,
we're
it's end
literally.
of January now, but the end of
End of
February.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I'm not in February.
We're not in February
Yeah,
yet.
how time flies, right?
Yeah. So we're we're process of opening up our APP so everyone can actually use it and they can participate, and so it's because this whole blockchain project, it's amazing how fast blockchain time. Like one day is 1 week, one
Yes.
one week is 1 month,
Yes.
1 month is 1 year.
Yes.
So we're
If only the transaction per second was
Yeah.
as faster, by the way.
Right.
But the space moves very, very quickly.
Yes.
Right.
But you asked about the transaction per
That's
second
right.
of the blockchain.
Yes.
So we're being very thoughtful on how we integrate the data that we have in our existing business into the blockchain, what you need and what you don't need.
Right.
And so we already see some areas where we can actually
Further improve on that.
improve on it and speed it up. And working with Quantum, who's already have some things that they're doing
That's right.
that will improve the speed and efficiency and reduce the gas costs dramatically, and which will obviously improve the value of the tokens themselves if it costs less to interact.
So you mentioned that you were moving out of China. So
Well, no, we're still gonna do China.
No,
We're not gonna
no,
move
as in,
expand,
sorry,
expand.
expanding,
Yeah,
right,
that's right.
not moving out of China, sorry.
Right.
But as in expanding. So which countries are you targeting first?
We're actually looking at, I would say, Southeast Asia.
Okay,
You know, it's actually it's one of the fastest growing segments.
it is.
And a lot of times, a lot of these, you know, it's like I would say they need our service more, and it's actually less competitive in the U.S. In the U.S., there's a lot of noise out there.
That's
so
right.
for us, Southeast Asia is what we're looking at, and you know, Southeast Asia, of course, is like you see countries like
I think
Malaysia,
Cambodia, Vietnam,
Indonesia, yeah.
Thailand.
Yeah.
Indonesia is a
that's
very
right.
huge market.
Yeah,
Huge.
Indonesia,
And I
correct.
think there are a lot of Western companies that are trying to penetrate into those markets as
Yeah.
well.
Right,
Because
true.
what you guys just did was, I mean, you guys are a US
Yeah.
based
We're from-
company,
we're from New York,
but
actually.
you all thought outside of the box and
Right.
moved outside of the US,
Right.
right? Establish yourselves in China, where so that any US brand could actually kind of tap onto you guys. And
Right.
if you can kind of do exactly the same model that you guys did, Robin8 Cambodia, Robin8 Indo, Robin8, you know,
Right.
wherever within the region, this is gonna fly, man.
Yes, and
This
there
is gonna fly.
when the
And
brand, on the
that's where
brand
I
side,
saw
they're
it.
already.
I saw it from the very beginning, man. Like when you all had 60 people in your Telegram, I saw that.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
so you know, this is what really excites me a lot. And that's the thing, because a lot of times, I mean, crypto grinders, we always talk about just the infrastructure, right? Like Ethereum, Quantum. Everyone talks about their decentralized exchanges, but no one actually talks about the dApps or the successful applications, which is like yourselves. You guys
Right.
are going to go huge. And that's the very, very important thing that I kind of saw. And now I want to ask you guys another very important question. Strategic partnerships. I think a large part of this space, no matter what, you still need strategic partnerships.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
do you have partners that are going to back you up within the blockchain space and outside the blockchain space?
Oh, yeah.
There are new ones. I mean, if you can reveal. Right, because it's an exclusive, right? So if you can reveal to our CG group, that would be awesome.
We actually, like I mentioned, one of the reasons we were able to finish this crowd, we had amazing advisors.
Right.
Our advisors are, you know, if you look at it, they're all from like, you know, the
Very well
4As.
connected, aren't they?
Yeah, we have like, you know, Bessie Lee, who she's our investors as well as our advisor. She was a former China CEO of WPP.
Okay.
She was there for 26 years, and she just left recently to start her own fund. She's our investment advisor. We also have like, you know, we have Kuyo Young, who's the CEO of CIC Cancer. They're basically the data part of
Right.
WPP.
Right.
We also have like, you know, Publicis Media, as well as like Alvin Fu, who's like, you know, who's previously the head of, you know, mobile at Google. And now he's at OMG, head of innovation at mobile.
Right.
So we have amazing advisors. So we're very, you know, in terms of like, you know, so we have great partnerships already. Like we work very closely with WPP and Publicis Media. But in terms of blockchain, yeah, we actually do have a lot of announcements coming up. So hold on to
Can
your
you
breath.
reveal or cannot
Yeah.
reveal?
So one of the things, like, you know, like we work with Alibaba.
Oh, wow,
Alibaba-
okay,
So,
okay.
so Alibaba.
Yeah, okay, done.
We actually work with Alibaba, the crowdsourcing app.
Right.
So one of the things, like, we know we have our own APP, like I mentioned, Robin8.
I think Jack Ma's really moving aggressively in this space.
Yes.
You know,
Yes, I'm
he's
sure
very, very well
Actually,
into that.
everyone's moving in.
Yes.
I think
Yes,
I think the
everyone's
next
moving in.
couple of months you see all the giants coming, and they're actually
Right.
everyone's like, I think the space is moving so fast now. Like just in the advertising space, like, you know, like Publicis Media, WPP, they're all like, you know, they're gonna all come in, and also like a lot of the brands, like, you know, when we mentioned that we're adding blockchain. Like they said to us, like a lot of the brands are ready to work with us immediately, like January.
Right.
We're like, whoa, we need some, you know. So it's like a lot of big companies are coming in. So for Alibaba, we're gonna announce, like, you know, we're already working with them for the last couple of months. Where basically our app is actually integrated
Right.
with their Alibaba crowdsourcing app. So we have a lot of campaigns, like I mentioned.
Sure.
And basically, everyone can actually download app and participate in these campaigns.
Right.
So for some of the campaigns that where we actually needed more people, or we could also push it to their app. And then we do. So we actually have a app network.
Right.
And we're working very closely with Alibaba. Their app. It's called Alibaba Zhongbao in China. We're also working with. We also have several big announcements. We work very closely with WPP and Publicis Media, and under WPP they have all these big agencies.
Right.
And there's going to be a couple big announcements we'll be making actually next month or so in terms of that's I'm really excited about it. So like I mentioned earlier, all the big players are coming in, and we're actually talking to a number of them. And a lot of these companies, right, they're looking at adding blockchain to their products. They're also actually looking at ICOs. A lot of them are actually coming to us now because we did our ICO so quickly and so successfully. They're saying, hey, can you help us with our blockchain project? Can you help us with our ICO?
That's right.
So for us, we actually, we're setting up kind of like a, you could think of it as a...
Is that advisory? Advisory
more like
board or
accelerator,
yeah.
like an accelerator, like a blockchain, where basically if it's companies or projects that fits our ecosystem, that deals with advertising, media, data, AI, we basically work with them very closely, where we basically partner, provide them tech. We also provide them, we just,
Yeah, you can actually white label actually this platform if you wanted to.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
no question. And we also envision where influencers themselves, they can learn how to improve the value of their own token.
That's right.
Oh, wow.
And
So for influencers,
yes,
we're actually working a lot of talking to a lot of influencers who basically, we're about helping them. So we're talking to a lot of influencers, helping them, basically maybe create their own, I would say, their own token.
Yes.
Right.
And,
Oh, wow.
so
Okay.
yeah.
Oh, that'd
So
be
they
fun.
can either private label their token and make their
they're
own
all on top
token,
of the put, yeah.
or they can, we help them figure out how they improve their token values, right?
I
And
can
then
see
create a
so
community
many
around
things
that.
being done on this.
Right.
I can see merchandising, e-commerce, everything. You know,
That's correct.
like you can just set up a whole little e-com store and
Right.
just literally build on top of it. Right?
Exactly. And then
cool.
you mentioned countries in Southeast
Right.
Asia, so we already have demand in these other countries. So a key value of cryptocurrency is the portability between countries,
Right.
which is a huge fintech issue.
Right.
So, but when you look at communities of people, they already have the portability. They're already moving between places, right?
Yeah.
And so when they look at working on top of their influence and doing it on a token such as ours, it immediately improves their value. So
Right.
that's why they're so excited about it.
Right. Okay, so that is probably almost all the time that we have for this particular interview. Now, the most important thing, if people are interested in getting the put tokens, where can they actually purchase the put tokens right now?
So we actually were listed on a number of exchanges. We're listed on BitZ. We're also listed on Allcoins, also on LBank, and CoinRail, and we're going to be added to CoinNest actually Monday.
Oh.
And we just we're pretty excited. So we did our ICO on January 8th. We got listed on January 17th,
Right.
and
more to come.
Yeah, we're the team's aggressively working to get on more exchanges. We're currently on about 5 exchanges. So there, and I think it's still a good time. So
And-
we're actually
and what about community?
It's
What
actually a
about
great
if you want to
time.
find out more about Robin8, continuously to be connected to Robin8? Can they find you on Telegram, Discord? Where can they find you?
Yeah,
Facebook? Where can
we're
they find
actually
you?
on all of that. So we're on Telegram, on Kakao. We actually have 4 groups.
Oh,
so
Kakao, okay.
Yeah, we have like
4 groups of.
We have 4 groups.
It's like,
Because usually
wow.
it has
Okay,
like
that's a lot of
1,000.
management.
Well, they did it.
Right.
Because each component hosts like 1,000. So we actually have so much demand. We actually
Right.
have 4 Kakao group, and then we also have Facebook. We have we have Twitter.
WeChat?
We also have WeChat. But I would say the easiest is you go to our website,
Sure.
which is robin8put.org.
Okay.
And you can see the exchanges that were listed, as well as all the social medias. If you have any questions,
We'll put all the
feel free to
links in the
contact us.
description, guys.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
right.
So thank you so much for having.
Thank you for having us.
We're very happy to have you. CG is very happy to have you. I mean, I'm so excited. I even got the whole sentence wrong. But guys, thank you so much for coming to Singapore, and
Okay.
most importantly, thank you so much for being part of this interview. That's all the time that we have today. Thank you so much for watching, guys.
Thank you.
Ryan, peace out.
Okay, thank you.